Man's greatest weakness is to hear himself praised. But occasionally, within this weakness lies hidden man's strength. The desire to hear oneself praised galvanizes the latent artist in man. The artist expresses himself through his art and is generously applauded. Part's survival depends on appreciation. Art languishes if there is no appreciation. The qualities of man call for praise. Praise is not flattery. It becomes flattery only when it is lavished on someone without qualities. As a means of expression, flattery means different things to different people. He who flatters knows that he is lying, while the man who is being flattered assumes it to be the truth. He who craves to listen to flattery is a sick person, and the flatterer aggravates his sickness. When kings avidly desire to be known as the shadow of God, their courts turn into hangouts for flatterers. The honeyed phrases of these courtiers are like a lovely strip with which they blindfold the king and never let him know what is actually happening. Instead of setting the country's affairs right, the king keeps listening to their panegyrics and leaves his subjects at the mercy of the Jeremiahs. There won't be so much commotion in the world if praise was in abeyance. Men accumulate wealth by fair means or foul. Deck out their homes, light them up with bulbs and fluorescent tubes, and invite their friends to a sumptuous feast. Those invited sound their praises, and there is no end to the acclaim. The houses appear brightly lit, and within the heart the lights go out one by one, and darkness gathers apace. The praise of wealth, the display of wealth, render people blind. A man who has no merit wants to be praised for everything he owns, from the dress he wears to the house he lives in. The desire to be praised by others often results in a terrible anguish. In order to be lauded back at home, a man would even travel to countries abroad. Once there, he earns a great deal of money and puts up with the discomforts which a stay away from home entails, while his family makes a display of its wealth and hears itself praised. He goes on burning in the furnace of loveliness in some foreign country. Once or twice each year he returns home and invites his friends for a get-together, spends a lot of money, hears himself praised, and then dejectedly gives himself up once more to the alien environment of a foreign country. At times, the desire to hear oneself praised becomes so overpowering that one thinks nothing of putting one's own life at stake. He loses his life in attempting to die in a manner which would be deemed praiseworthy. No wound is more deep than the one inflicted by praise. It is very hard for it to heal. To want to hear one's praises is a disease, and those who suffer from it take it as an insult if they are not praised. If one of your friends turns up wearing a smart new dress, and for some reason or other you fail to notice it, you put your friendship in jeopardy. Everything which a man does to streamline and trim his personality, all his elegance, dandyism, smartness, his stamina, expressions, gestures and movements are ploys to invite praise. When someone already in debt borrows more money and holds by the marriage feast of his son at a 5-star hotel, his sole object is that he should be highly lauded. Those who are only too ready to applaud praise him, but in their heart of hearts deplore his imprudence. His creditors are hardly likely to sound his praises. Are a man's good looks the result of his own versatility? What is there in a man which he can call his own? To praise the rich is another way of justifying that the poor should be deprived of their rights. Perhaps there will be less oppression in the world if we were to stop praising the fopperies of the rich. By snatching away that which belongs by rights to others, the oppressor hears his riches praised. And in this manner, social inequalities are perpetuated. The tyrant makes out that his tyranny is a piece of art, and the applauders sing his praises. If one were to look carefully at this saga of praise, it would be possible to discern that beneath it lies concealed a saga of oppression, the achievements of mighty empires. Great countries and developed nations are praiseworthy. Indeed, but tucked away below the surface of these achievements is a record of despotic crimes, committed without qualm against mankind. Countries with a humanitarian outlook are doing in Afghanistan what is required by the dictates of friendship. Nowadays, half the world is anguish-ridden, and the other half is regarded as estimable. Praiseworthy are the great many achievements of the sciences. The sciences are credited with the conquest of the cosmos, but as a matter of fact, the praise is a sort of gloss to paper over the destructiveness of the atomic bomb. Civilizations which claim to have made life easier have, at the same time, put life on the rack. The modern man is blessed with comforts. To build hospitals for the sick is a meritorious service. But those who claim to safeguard life, and by saying so have become accustomed to being lauded, are also devising ways and means to annihilate life forever. The votaries of peace are making ready for war. The devastation set in motion by praise is about to reveal its sordid aspects. Should the temperament of those given to praise undergo a change, then surely the temperament of those who are fond of listening to praise shall also alter. The man who loves to hear himself praised cannot be reformed unless we first reform the man who is wont to praise. In any case, praise should never cross the bounds of credibility. In the context of praise, the most dangerous stage comes when some frivolous person starts singing his own praises. It is a foretaste of hellish torment. No mirror can ever deliver him from this affliction. Praise is at the same time reward, as well as punishment. It is praise which begets laudable qualities. It also wipes out these qualities. But to sing your own praises is an affront to whatever is humane in you.